descendants of Adam, chosen by the Most High God. We started as kings, priests, became slaves, 1619. We started as Hebrews and they renamed us Negroes. Now the roar of the lion has awakened his people.
How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom.
Felt good.
You have been at this for 12 years.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Sweet land of liberty.
Because God's children are not for sale. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
We're Homeland Security. You know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces.
And where my fathers died.
And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
Land of the Pilgrim's
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead.
It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
South of that river is all rebel territory. No one goes in.
What if this was your daughter?
So, she's gone.
Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
All praises unto the Most High. We're giving thanks unto thee, Father, for thou art merciful and kind to thy servant and to thy people. I thank you, Father, for your continual blessings that you have shown unto thy people. Israel, family, we're here again with another lesson. And this is definitely, a sound of freedom coming from the Most High through people that he have chosen to actually put forth his message within the right timing so that it could be a ripple effect so that people would really understand what is taking place and do not be ignorant to it, and to understand that we are in a spiritual warfare, right? Now, earlier you saw me show the trailer, and it's called, obviously the movie is known as The Sound of Freedom. Now, before I go into the lesson, I can say, with all confidence that this movie has been saying things that I've been saying for like 3 years now, right? If you go through the channel in terms of looking up for the dark underbelly, and also there's another actual lesson that I have there, gives you the same internal, showing you the wickedness of these so-called pedophiles, rich elites, and so on and so forth, that do these satanic things. And the Father is saying enough is enough, right? And they are going to be judged, right? Now, I'm going to go into this video clip here, and I have 2 more to show as well, to actually give some clarity to, a lot of things surrounding this movie. And there's a lot of things that as people, we shy away from, henceforth why we can never make any really substantial changes or try to make forward steps because we are afraid to deal with the truth, right? And we tend to shift it underneath the rug because it's too hard to look at. But you must understand, sin and wickedness is never something you can sweep under the rug. It will only tend to build up and it will come right back on your lap, right? Now, with that said, I'm going to go into this clip right here, and then I'm going to come back to, give you my 2 cents, and then we'll go into scriptures, and also we have some clippings of articles that I want to go into as well, and it will be definitely edifying and very, let's say, thought-provoking lesson, right? So with that, let's get into it.
Number one movie in America wasn't Indiana Jones. Disney spent $300 million resurrecting Harrison Ford and releasing the summer blockbuster. But there's another movie dominating the box office. It's called The Sound of Freedom, and it beat Indiana Jones on opening day. The film's based off the true story of Tim Ballard, a former Homeland Security special agent who saved kids from an international sex trafficking ring.
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
We're Homeland Security. You know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
This movie zeroes in on the multi-billion-dollar human trafficking industry and honors a hero, someone who saved children from sex slavery. But to the media, this person isn't a hero. Someone who rescues kids from pedophiles is a villain.
These films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites.
For some reason, the entire media is smearing this movie as a dangerous conspiracy theory. The press is saying that the star, Jim Caviezel, is a QAnon guy. And Jim plays Tim Ballard, which is strange because just a few years ago, the same media was celebrating Tim Ballard's heroics. Watch.
Tim Ballard has one mission: to track down child traffickers. 4 months ago, Colombian authorities asked him to investigate a tip that children were being sold there as sex slaves.
Within a half hour, this individual walks up to me, starts asking me what I'm here for, what I want, and within minutes, he says, well, I've got kids as young as 11 years old.
So why is the media warning people not to see a movie about child sex trafficking that's based on a true story? Well, the Spear Fund founder, Tim Ballard, joins me now. So, Tim, why is the media hating this movie?
You know, I can't understand it. The film was made, produced, written like 5 years, 6 years ago, way before anyone heard the name QAnon. I still don't even know what QAnon is. In the meantime, they're trying to connect it to some conspiracy when, in fact, like you said, this is a true story. These are real kids. I mean, these kids are my friends. They're young adults now, the ones that were rescued. They're going to come out soon and tell their story. It's going to be very awkward when the mainstream media comes after these kids next and accuses them of being part of some conspiracy when, in fact, they were rescued from a life of rape. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in the media, perhaps.
I mean, this publication says The Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms, and that it fetishizes the torture of its child victims. Is that what the movie does?
It absolutely does not do that. It tells a story based in truth. And, you know, what I think is happening, Jesse, I think that the left and these media outlets, they don't want to have a discussion that this film is going to compel. A discussion about why 85,000 children showed up unaccompanied at the border and got released into the interior of a country that is the highest consuming country for child exploitation material on the planet. They don't want to talk about why these same publications are pushing an agenda to change the word pedophile to minor attracted persons in order to normalize sexual activity with children. I think that's what they're trying to avoid, and they know this film's gonna shine a light on all of the things, all the atrocities happening to children, and so they have to discredit it by lying about it.
So what would their motivation be to discredit a movie that's trying to shine a spotlight onto atrocities committed against children?
Well, if the truth of human trafficking and child exploitation were to be brought to bear, brought to light, then they would have to have a debate, a discussion that they don't want to have about, again, these policies around sexualizing children or allowing children to consent at a young age to do anything and everything, which would eventually include being, identifying as an adult perhaps and having sex with pedophiles. I hunt pedophiles. I've been hunting them for 20 years, and they are watching this and they're salivating. They are happy that Rolling Stones and The Guardian are ripping on a movie that exposes them. So I don't like the fact that these media outlets are in fact wittingly or unwittingly running interference for human traffickers and pedophiles.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the movie yet, but now I want to see it because this thing made such a splash. Tim, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with the box office.
Thank you.
Right. So as you can see, Israel, unfortunately, these guys don't want any, backlash, because basically they know that if they should, allow this movie to surface and to do what it needs to do, which they can't really, because so far it actually has done very well, and it's actually the #1 movie so far at the box office, right? But because we have people in this world that love darkness, when you bring them to the light, they will shy away, and they will do everything and anything that they can do to hide the truth, right? Sounds familiar? Well, we're going to get into it, right? No. I want to actually go to that word that he mentioned, right? Which is called, it's called QAnon, right? Now, when I heard the word myself, I was saying, what is that? I mean, these people always come up with some words, right? But actually did a little research, and this was something that was there a few years ago, basically dealing with people that comes up with conspiracy theories. So now they put a name on it now. And they don't just call you conspiracy theorists now, Now they have a name for you, which is called QAnon. Now, let's go into it. Let's actually check it out, right? So we're on Wikipedia, and I could have gone to other sites, but I tend to, like to check Wikipedia because, a lot of people tend to say that it's not reputable, but I think that's not true, because end of the day, anywhere where there's truth or anything that is, showing a light onto wickedness, they tend to disclaim it. And that's all they do. They always disclaimer anything that is coming with the truth, right? Same as how if we come up with certain things on this platform, and if they don't agree with it, they call it all kind of stuff, hate speech, and you name it, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, right? But nevertheless, when you do so, you tend to see that the same repetition tends to really be happening. Is what? You tend to see truth. Now, let's get into it. Oh, family, here it is. Let's start. All right, so let's start from here. All right, we're going to highlight it. All right, start from here. Now, QAnon, right? QAnon is an American political conspiracy theory and a political movement. It originated in the American far-right political sphere in 2017. QAnon is centered on fabricated claims made by an anonymous individual or individuals known as Q. So you see what I'm saying now, Israel? So I'm saying, family, is like when you bring the truth, the first thing they do, they slap a label on you. Not to say that you don't have conspiracy theories out there, or people making up stuff, but you tend to see a pattern now that all these so-called conspiracy that they've been talking about, you tend to see coming right into reality, right into our forefront, right into our eyes, day to day, and it tends not to change. Now, if we know anything, we know that if everyone is saying something is like that, then other people saying, well, you know what, it's close to it, so it must be true, because too many people can't be saying the same thing and then it's coming up, over a period of years, and we're seeing it and we're seeing evidence of it. You can't refute it, right? Now check this. Now it states those claims have been relayed and developed and supplemented by numerous communities and influencers associated with the movement, right? Now, that is the basic meaning of what they would consider a QAnon, right? I could go through it more, but we just wanted that small gist, right? No, they're saying that this brother is basically coming up with stuff that is based off of this theory, right? So let's go to actually now the Guardian, right? No, the Guardian is, if I'm correct, it's a British publication, right? Because first time I ever heard about it is when I was actually in London myself. So, and I saw the paper company. So I'm gonna guesstimate that it's it's a British company, but if not, don't hold me to it. But nevertheless, it doesn't really matter because they're very recognized publication. So here it is, The Guardian, right? No. It says right here, and it's speaking about the movie Sound of Freedom, right? Now, personally, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the trailer for a few weeks now, and the most has been, how he works, he tends to show me stuff, but I tend not to really just jump at things, but I watch and I wait, for the Holy Spirit to really guide me and show me in the way that I should go. And I realized that, it keep coming back. So I said, you know what? Because I wasn't really too pushy to do it, because I did stuff like this already in terms of, on my channel before, dealing with these stuff. So it was nothing new for me per se. But I said, you know what? Let me bring it forth again, because now the Father is bringing it out on a worldwide scale. And I said, let me just bring forth the truth, which has been hidden, just like Epstein and all these people with their private island. These are the same people that are doing some of these stuff, and they're connected to very, what we would know as very influential people, very notable people, right? And these are the stuff that they do. Now watch this. It says here, right? Now, Sounds of Freedom, the QAnon adjacent thriller seducing Americans. Now look at that, Israel. Now they're saying now this is a conspiracy movie that is seducing America to believe something which is not true, right? And this is from the Guardian, right? And we're gonna take a little quick read through it, not too long, and I'm gonna just highlight it from about here. And it states, the type of word Sounds of Freedom into Twitter descends people who wish to live good, happy lives should under no circumstances actually do this. You see this, Israel? Now watch it. And the search will yield dozens of triumph reports crowding about the improbable victory of a film by that title over the likes of Indiana Jones at the box office this week. Now, they're saying that basically here, the name of the movie and the whole movement behind it and what the concept is about, they're saying that, it's been stated that the movie has actually beaten Indiana Jones at the box office, right? And if you go through this article, it's actually saying it's not actually true. But you know, it can't be because when you go back and really check the stats, it's actually showing you now that it's actually doing, far more better than Indiana Jones. Now, this is what is even showing you that these people will put out stuff to keep us asleep, to keep us entertained, but the truth, they will hide it. They will label it as being what QAnon, a conspiracy theorist type of movie, right? How can you be saying children are being trafficking and being, led into all manner of evil, and you're saying that is conspiracy theorists? Now, the actor that played this, right, is the guy that played the Passion of Christ, right? And the brother that's based upon a real story, which is an ex-CIA agent. Now you're telling me now an ex-CIA agent is making up stories? That's what you're telling us? Watch this. Now we're gonna read here, and then we're just gonna go to the next clip readings, right? So I'm gonna read down to the next area here, right? No, it reads, right, that sorry, let me just get it right. So that's not strictly speaking accurate. So they're saying that is not speaking accurate. Why? Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disney had already been out for 5 years. Now, they're claiming now, and this is actual true fact, it's not even a claim, that Disney had this movie for distribution because they went to Disney first, because obviously Disney would be the best place to go to because Disney is dealing with kids. But I know that Walt Disney, the same man, is a Freemason, right? Thai Freemason, right? So you wouldn't expect that if it's something that they, these underworld deals with, you are gonna expect them to come and show a light on themselves. No, it's impossible. Now watch this. So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disney had already been out for 5 days. The first 3 of which out-earned Sound of Freedom opening day take. So they're saying basically now, Indiana Jones actually out-earned Sound of Freedom. When the new Independence thriller came to the theaters on Tuesday, right? That's what they're saying, right? On Tuesday, where am I? Right, on Tuesday, but for a fleeting moment, this passed forth on when it passed 4th of July, while the intended audience of Indy's latest outing was presumably spending time with their families and friends at barbecues or in other social situations. So they're saying basically, because it came out on July 4th, everybody was having a little good time with their family and having their barbecue and whatever. And on what is occupied freedom relied by the star Jim Chavel's claim the day which with a 14.2 million gross versus Dial of Disney 11.7 million, no matter that these figures required selective, also almost willfully misleading farming to allow for the David and Goliath narrative, trumped by supporters as the copious tweeted accusing, go down here now, accusing Disney of being in cahoots with a global cabal of high power pedophiles make clear the truth does not have too much purchase around these parts. So basically, they're trying to flip the script and saying that the sound of freedom is trying to paint a certain type of picture to let people feel like they were against all the odds. Their budget of making the movie was so low compared to Indiana Jones, and yet they still end up beating them, right? So they're saying the David and Goliath narrative, right? And then not only that, they're saying that Disney and these other IPO people are, a part, are pedophiles, and and they're saying that's not true, right? No, I'm not going to start adding up the maths. I mean, come on, you tend to say something is not right because obviously, if you had such a great film and it came out and you had it for 5 years, right, with an actor which obviously did The Passion of Christ, so obviously he's well known, right, and it's dealing with a true based story. It is not even fictional, and you denied it, you hold it because you're trying to stifle it, and the Most High so happened to let it still come out, through another studio production company, which is known as Angels Studios, right? And it ended up being, more successful than what they think that it would have been, right? That shows you the power of how the Father works when time you're dealing with injustice, because the Father is there for who? For the oppressed, for the ones that nobody looks at, the one that everybody has down as the downtrodden, the tail, the ones which no one will give that opportunity, right? That's how the Father works. But I'm going to go to scripture just to show you that as well. But before I go there, let's quickly go back to a quick article as well, sorry, right? Just to clarify more on not just the Guardian, but also here, the Washington Post is stating right here, as we can see, right? Stating right here, as we can see, that QAnon, it seems like this is a new word now, obviously, because it's been out for 2017, so now they can just slap it on somebody. They were just waiting for somebody to just hold the title, right? Now check it. QAnon and the Sound of Freedom both really on tied Hollywood tropes. So basically, they're saying that these guys are going around, speaking things which are not true, right? Just going to read a little quick one on this as well. I'm not going to go too far into it, right? But you can actually go and, read these things for yourself, right? So it's on the Washington Post, and you can just type in about Sound of Freedom, and, all those information will come up. So it states here that Donald Trump plans to screen the film Sound of Freedom at his New Jersey golf club next week. The film is about agents fighting a child sex trafficking ring, has been embraced by the far right and Christians, who have helped boost it to more than 50 million in receipts at the box office. So clearly, the people that, who are either considered the gatekeepers, they're not happy with this, right? They're not happy at all, right? They are not happy. No, let's quickly go to the next. So is that, no, sorry, yeah. So it's only two of them are. I think I had one, but I didn't bother show it because I didn't want to go too much into it. So there's another one with you got one with Washington Post, The Guardian, and another I think it's Rolling Stones. You know what I mean? So you can go and check them out. So basically, these are the things which we see here, right? And it only goes to show that there are, elements of evil and darkness out there that is trying to stop, truth from coming out. Now, saying that, I'm going to quickly go to a quick scripture that's dealing with, the oppressed, right? Now let's go to Jeremiah 13 and 26, right? And it reads, right, that therefore will I discover thy, sorry, no, my mistake, sorry, didn't want that one. Not Jeremiah, let me get, yes, let me get, so this is Psalms 9 and 9. Excuse me, Israel. So Psalms 9 and 9. So it says right here, right, that the Most High also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And that's what the Most High is going to do, right? He will be there for the oppressed in their times of trouble. So that's what the Most High did for this movie right here, right? To highlight the truth of what is being suppressed. Because you notice when, you know, his name, that guy that, you know, so-called took his life in prison, you know, Mr. Epstein, you know, basically he was alleged by, you know, authorities of being with a sex trafficking ring of, you know, soliciting underage girls to high influence people, right? And he had a lot of dirt on a lot of people. Henceforth, you know, the narrative came out that this guy ended up taking his life, which, you know, I don't think that's the case, right? But, you know, I guess in time, all will be real, because all that is hidden will come to light. And we're going to touch that as well, right? But before we do so, right, we're just highlighting the fact and setting the stage that we are dealing with people that do not want the light to come forth, so people can understand what is taking place. No, we are now going to show you now, Israel, about missing children, all right? So I'm going to go to one of these sites here, which is the National Central for Missing and Exploited Children. Now, this one is basically giving you all the missing states, and also I'm going to go show you down here, right here, down here. So basically here, as you can see, where it says key, says this, the colors are like a light blue, says missing states, and yellow is active, and the other kind of grayish color, right, says resolved, right? And the white down here, that is total in terms of, you know, how many in total with active and resolved together, right? So it gives you a total. So now, why I'm showing you actually here, now before I do so, let me show you, so this is a authorized website, not just me just making up anything here, right? So this is coming, as I said before, from the National Center of Missing Children, Missing and Exploited Children, right? And this is a territory of the United States. Now, why I showed you this is because in all of this information that I've checked here, America is actually the leading country in the world, deals with child sexual exploitation and missing children and the rest, you know what I mean, put them together. Now, as you can see here on this graph, right, in almost, I think America has what, 52 states, if I'm correct, right? And it's almost every state in America, right, comes up with missing children, and some resolved, some not resolved, and it's at an alarming rate, right? So as you can see here, just look at, let's say Washington, right? So it's 68 here, right? That's that's active. 887, basically, they said that it's resolved. So in total, that's 955, right? And that's the cases, right? And here in Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, California, and California is one of the highest states as well because it's 431, and so on and so forth, right? Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, even Alaska. Imagine Alaska. Wow, right? And the list goes on. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Massachusetts, yeah. You have Idaho, Indiana, Tennessee, and the list goes on. Michigan, New York, New Hampshire. I mean, the list goes on. New Jersey. You can just, it's mind-boggling, right? And this is just a graph of just America. This is just one country, right? No, let's go to another site. I'm going to show you something here, all right? Now, this is the missing children statistics, right? And this is taken from just to show you, International Central for Missing and Exploited Children, right? This is the Global Missing Children's Network, right? Now, it's a slightly little bit outdated in terms of the date, but I do have one that is more, what you would say now, more recent. But the numbers are almost still the same and getting worse. All right, check this. Now, in Australia, it says right here, just to highlight it so you can see it, right? In Australia, an estimate of 20, this is estimating, so it's not an accurate number. So it could be more or less, but I'm going to say more. Now, estimated that 20,000 children are reportedly missing every year. Australia Federal Police National Coordination Center. Now, this is the authority that's saying this. That's not me, right? Now, look, Canada, right? Sorry, let me just put here, Canada. Oh. No, Canada, right? Estimated of 45,280 reported missing every year, right? Germany, 100,000. India, 96,000. Jamaica, right? Probably the least, but still, still not good, right? Even in Jamaica here, right? It's almost 2,000 children go missing every year. That's a lot. For a small island, that's a lot, right? Right? That's more than the rate of people dying every year, right? So you add that to this to the death toll, that's 3,000 or more, right? Every year, right? Now in Russia here, 45,000, Spain 20,000, United Kingdom, whoa, United Kingdom, right? All right, it's 112,855 children are reported missing every year from the National Crime Agency UK Missing Persons Bureau, right? But who takes the cake though, right? Who takes the cake? As usual, the daughter of Babylon. Boom. The United States is estimated 460,000. That's almost close to 500,000 children are reportedly missing every year. And these are like from 2015 and so on and so forth, right? So you can just imagine now in 2023, right? It is not a joke, family, right? So this is why they want to, to put everybody to sleep to go and watch Indiana Jones, right? Now, let's get into this article over here now, which is the general missing children statistics, right? Excuse me, me have a little list down. So you go. But watch this. The general missing children statistics, right? It's stating right here. So now this is taken from, just to let you know, so you can know for yourself, you can go and check it out, read it up, right? So this is coming from the safe list, which is the based on home security systems and service guide. Now, the truth about what? Children abduction statistics in 2023. Now I'm going to go back to where I was, right? So right here. So I'm going to highlight this just to show you what takes place when children are abducted. Now watch this. There are 3 different types of children abductions, right? Which is what? Abductions for the purpose of raising a child, which is true because the actual movie speaks about that, where they will take these children, groom them for, a number of years, because they're saying that right now that child trafficking, in terms of the volume of the money that it makes, it surpassed drugs, right? It's a $150 billion revenue, because with drugs, you only can sell it once and that's it. With a child, you can continuously sell that child for like probably years and make millions of dollars just off of one child alone. And that child could be raped over 20,000 times, right? I've gone through a lot of, videos and statistics, and it's really, I know why people don't want to face this, because the reality of it is really hard to deal with. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I had to, because I want to know the truth. So I can bring this truth forth so we can know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. Just as what Christ said, right? Now check this. Let me start again. So it says that abductions for the purpose of raising a child and parental abduction, right? Millions of children go missing every year. And due to lack of reporting, that instance is likely much more. So it could be more. And watch this. In recent years, however, the combination of awareness and technology has ensured that almost all children are returned home safely. But that's kind of with a pinch of salt, really, because if you go down here now, where it states, I'm not going to highlight it, it says around 8 million children are reported missing each year worldwide. You know what is 8 million? I want you to let that sink in for a second. Right? Think about children. We're talking about, when I said children, I'm not talking about no 17-year-old, or a 16-year-old, or a 15-year-old, which that's still children. I'm talking like 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8 years old, right? Children, babies. These guys are abducting, right? And not only to just for child trafficking, but there's other sinister stuff as well, which is to harvest organ harvesting, which is to use these babies' organs, right? And other wicked things to go with that, even satanic stuff, you know what I mean? Which is what? Child sacrifice. And we're going to get to that in scripture, right? No. Let's go down real quickly, because I want to get into this real quick. So right here in the second leg of this now, it states here that 2,300 children are reported missing daily in the US. No, you check that. Those numbers are not no normal numbers, 2,300 children are reported missing daily. So if we go back to this graph that I had here, right, it clearly is showing right here that this is what's taking place, because look, in almost every state, right, children are going missing. And the yellow ones that you see, those ones are the active. So if you add all of these up, it will come up to that number, right? To this number right here. 2,300 children are reported missing in the United States alone. Now watch this, right? Missing children reported covered many different situations, including abduction, while some are instance of parental or stranger abductions. Or could you imagine a parent is doing this thing to a child? That in itself is just unbelievable. But nevertheless, that's actually what some of the times the case is. Other instances include running away, being kicked out, misunderstandings, or getting lost, which that happens. But, nevertheless, it says right here, we are at 3, that in 2020, almost 400,000 youths were abducted in the U.S. I mean, seriously, right? 400,000. That's close to almost 500,000 kids, right? Being abducted, right? But the Most High said what? This is not going to continuously happen, because Christ is around the corner, and he's going to come like a thief in the night, and all these foolishness that they're doing, it will come to an end. And henceforth, while the Most High allowed this film, Sound of Freedom, to come forth and to show their wicked deeds. Now, I'm going to go to Luke 17:2, right? And a lot of you might know this, and you might not. And it reads, "It were better for him that a millstone were hung about his neck, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones." Right? So it would have been better for some of these wicked pedophiles, Satanists, sex traffickers. It would have been better for them if they would have just tied a millstone around their neck and go drown themselves in the sea. Christ said this, right? The same Christ that you said that is a loving and, now going to do certain things Christ, No, you're talking about a fairy tale Christ. The real Christ of the Bible, right, would tell you the truth. And this is what people don't like, the truth. Because the Father even tells you that when he chasten you, is for the purpose of what? Healing peaceable fruit. Now, this is for healing peaceable fruit. But a lot of people are not going to like the truth because they like darkness, right? They don't like the truth. Now, let's get into Revelation 21:8, right? And reason why I bring out this is just the fact that a lot of these people that are doing these wicked and sinister things, they are packed right into this verse right here. And I'm going to tell you why. But the fearful, right, and the unbelieving. Now, you see, the unbelieving is these people that think that what they're doing is going to continue and there will be no reprimand for it. But there will be judgment. Now, watch this. And the abominable. Now, the abominable for me now is people who take a child and rape a child and then sell that child. And then after they finish with that child, they kill that child. Henceforth, that it says right after this, and murderers. And this is why these people, some of these kids are what? Sex slaves. They're wicked. right? And why are they wicked? Because some of them are what? Just as it reads after whoremonger, wickedness. And that's why they do what? And shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which will be what? The second death. So a lot of times people feel like they're enjoying them life, and yeah, when they die, that's it. You best think again. If that's the notion that you're keeping in your mind, you are going to be pleasantly surprised. Believe me when I tell you that, right? And it won't be pleasant when that surprise comes. No, let's go to Luke 8 and 17, right? And this is really, really great. You know why? Because they're trying to hide the truth. And all they're trying to hide the truth, just as though they're trying to hide the truth about, you know, the Israelites of the Bible, right? Which every time the evidence adds up, and when you read the Bible and you do historical checks, it points back to one thing: the same people of the Bible. But they're telling you no, it's some different people that wear black hats and have some sideburns rolled down their side of their sideburns. And none of these people in history have ever been into slavery. And we know this for a fact, because if you don't even read the Bible, you know, at least you know that part of the history, especially being somebody that's coming from that type of background. You can never, you'd have to actually go and search for that in depthly to find that, to find these people that are so-called in Israel saying that they have been in slavery. That's what the Bible said. You don't believe it, go and read Deuteronomy 28, all right? He said, he will scatter you across the nations. Which people you know have been scattered across the world? Clearly not those people. No, let's read it. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad, meaning it's going to come to light, right? So same as what they say, you know, these people that has been in slavery are not, you know, the Israelites. They're saying that they're Africans, right? That's all they are, right? Okay. Same as though they're saying that, you know, this movie is not dealing with a true base, you know, storyline. It's dealing with, you know, made up conspiracies just to paint a certain picture because they have probably a vendetta against, you know, somebody or a particular group. Well, the Father says it right here. For nothing is secret that shall not, 7 and 21. I'm going to read 21 to 23. Let me highlight that. All right. Let me highlight that. All right. No, it reads, for from within, out of the heart of men, produce evil thoughts. And this is what these people are producing. Evil thoughts. For you to sit down and conspire that you want to steal a child and to go sell that child to use as a sex slave, that's pure evil thoughts. Catch this. They're adulterers, fornicators, and murderers. And that is the bottom line. Check this. They are thieves. And that's what they're doing. They're stealing God's children to go to do what? Covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and they have an evil eye. That's what they're doing. They have an evil eye. Right? Right? And watch this. They're blasphemers. And they're full of pride. And they're foolishness. The foolishness that they're doing is thinking that what they're doing, they can continuously do it and just everything is going to be hunky-dory. That's the foolishness. That's the pride that they have in their mind, not knowing that all of this will come to an end, and they're going to pay a heavy price for it, because Christ told you, anyone who do what? To offend what? Any of these little ones, is a better if you have tied a millstone around your neck and jump in the sea and go drown yourself. That's what you need to go do. Now watch this, 23. And all these evil things comes from within, and that's where it's coming from. It's coming from within them. Because what? They are defiled just like the devil. They're defiled just like the fallen angels. They're defiled just like an unclean spirit. And that's what's in them. All these evil things that's in them are evil and unclean, right? Taking the Most High's property for wickedness. But let's go to this and let's show you this. The Most High also will be a refuge. Let's read it again. The Most High also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in time of trouble. You best believe it, right? But who don't believe will feel. Now, let's quickly jump to Jeremiah 13 and 26. Now, what is happening here now is that America, which is known as the daughter of Babylon, right? What is happening is that their skirt has been pulled up right in the face of the world. Now everybody's seeing their dirty deeds, and it's shameful. They can't deal with it, so they have to do what? If you notice how these systems work, when the truth come out, they start to tell you that it's a lie, or start to paint you as a mad person, or they start to paint you as a person that is out for what? Conspiracy theorists to do QAnons because you have a personal agenda. They paint a picture of making that person or group to look a certain way, just as what they say about the Israelite groups. They say that they're hate groups, right? Who's more hateful than the Ku Klux Klan? And I've never seen them say nothing about the Ku Klux Klan yet, right? I don't see them come out and say Ku Klux Klan is hateful when they're hanging people, right? You know, beating people, you know, oppressing people, doing all kind of things. I never hear no story about them. But yet, when you're speaking on the Bible, all of a sudden, it's hate. Now watch this. Therefore will I discover thy skirt upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. And that's what's happening to America right now. Because they're the leading #1 country for child pornography. For what? Children abductions. For what? For satanic rituals with children. The #1 country. Hey, I can tell you, they're living the American dream. And if it's that dream they want to live, I'll keep living in my reality, which is within Christ, because I don't want no part of that dream. Because that dream, slowly but surely, is going to fade away. All right? Now, they're trying to say that this guy was what? Making up stories. Now we're going to go to a video clip to prove to you that this guy was doing this. And I've been watching this guy long before, and I didn't realize when the Most I flicked back this video clip back on me, which I watched like a year or two ago, right? Or probably 3 years now, if I'm correct, but I think 2 years, right? When before this movie came out, which he did this movie 6 years ago, right? And he's an ex-CIA student. His name is Tim Ballard, right? And Tim Ballard was doing this out of the love of trying to help children because the Most High put it on his heart. Now watch this. So we're going to see who's making up conspiracy theories now. Right? So let's see who is telling the lie from who is speaking the truth. So family, let's check this out right here. I'm going to put it up on full screen right here. You know what I mean? Because if he's lying, then I don't know what the truth is, right? Now, check this out, Israel.
Now these girls, how old are they? I'm doing 13 to 15 years old. 13 to 15 years old. That's what I'm doing. 13 to 15.
You're watching footage of an alleged child trafficker negotiating with someone he thinks is a customer, but the purported buyer is actually an undercover agent.
Y a él le gustan así, como te dije, le gustan pequeñas, frescas.
This remarkable video is featured in a new documentary called The Abolitionists. Crime Watch Daily's Melissa Moore goes inside the film, featuring ex-CIA agent Tim Ballard and his team of highly trained operatives who crisscross the globe, rescuing children from sexual slavery.
We all know the term child sex trafficking, but you see it up close and personal.
You know, I sometimes like to use the term child sex slavery, where they force them to do sexual acts on video. And I'm talking, these kids are as young as 7 years old or younger.
Tim is the founder of Operation Underground Railroad. On this mission, the unit heads to the Colombian town Cartagena, where cutting deals isn't limited to dark alleys.
We have to pretend to be sex tourists, talking to taxi drivers, sitting on the beach and waiting for a vendor to come up and start offering us everything from drugs to adult women, and eventually it comes up. Well, how about children? At that point, we tell them that we want to have a party. We want to have a sex party, and we want children to be the objects of lust for this party.
For this job, the alleged traffickers think they are bringing kids to a party where the children will be brokered to a bunch of American pervs. But first, the deal is struck, seen here on hidden camera.
Le va a gustar al jefe.
Oh, sí. Sí. ¿Cuántos años tiene?
The big night comes. Tim and his agents spin an elaborate web. No detail is left to chance.
We're going to make a sign that says Feliz Cumpleaños a Maria. We'll get some balloons.
Those girls can do that.
Yeah, so we're going to put that on the door, just in case, and that's for looky-loos outside who see 30 minors walking into a house.
Tim briefs the team on how the sting will unfold.
The rendezvous point, which a lot of you know is the hotel at the end of this street. Don't talk about that outside this room.
Then it's party time. The girls are herded like cattle. Traffickers thinking they're about to make a ton of cash, charging $300 per girl and $1,000 for a virgin.
Everyone's coming in.
Pequeña, le va a gustar al jefe.
Oh, sí, con los shorts.
Sí. Eso es.
¿Cómo se llaman? La piscina ahí, comida también tenemos. ¡Hola, muchachas!
Now, Israel, I just want to really point out, if you look closely, when the ladies or the girls are coming in, they put the number around them, so it shows you their age, right? So they could be 14, 12 years old, 15 years old, and so on and so forth. Now, this is what these people are trying to hide. Now, let's continue.
14, 12, bien.
¿El de 14? ¿Qué hace?
Sí.
Ella hace todo. The traffickers, in addition to the 12 and 13-year-old girls, brought these adult prostitutes who kind of hovered over the girls, kind of groomed them, showed them what they're supposed to do, and kept an eye on them. And these poor little girls are kind of mixed and mingled within this larger body of adult prostitutes.
Then on cue, Tim tips his glasses, giving the Colombian cops the signal to raid the phony party. the guys are arrested, Colombian Child Protective Services march in to take charge of the kids. The Cartagena mission is a success, with 5 alleged traffickers arrested and the 29 kids rescued. These youngsters having no idea Tim has saved them from their alleged abusers.
Imagine that for the children, as you're doing this operation, they think that you're the bad guys.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's one of the most difficult parts of the job, because to maintain our security, we get arrested with the rest of the actual bad guys.
Have you ever seen a child realize that you were their rescuer?
One time, it was October of 2014. It was the largest child rescue that I've ever heard of. We rescued over 120 victims.
In this video, a different mission. The alleged traffickers brought children to an island, thinking they were going to partner up with the undercover agents to build a child sex hotel. But their plot was foiled. The bad guys were arrested, and somehow the kids learned that the Americans were actually their saviors.
All the kids, they're in these cabanas, and they run to the windows, and there's a screen, and they're crying, and they're singing, and they're saying thank you. It was so emotional. I mean, my hardened operators are crying. I'm crying. But one of my guys behind me, I remember, grabs my shirt and he's pulling on it and he's crying, and he says, you're hearing the sound of freedom.
No, he says that you're hearing the sound of freedom. Now, this part is actually in the movie, so this is not even something that they tried to make up. This is something that was actually taken from this documentary footage and put into the movie. Right? And I suggest that you guys need to watch the movie. Myself, I'm going to watch the movie, right? Because it shows you the reality of this wicked world that we're living in, right? Henceforth, why the scripture says that the world was given into the hands of the what? The wicked, right? And henceforth, why he said, when he heard that, they heard the sound of freedom. And that was actually the title name of the movie. Gold figure, right? Check it.
But saving these kids is only part of what Operation Underground Railroad does. They also provide healing for the kids who will never forget the horrors they endured. Back in the United States, Elizabeth Smart, who was abducted as a teen and sexually assaulted, is joining up with this bold rescue operation.
How did she team up with you?
I think what really attracted her to what we were doing was that we were going in and trying to rescue kids, and she told me, she said, I sat there for 8 months hoping someone would just drop in out of the sky and rescue me. She said, I want to go back to the place in California where I was held captive. It was so empowering. And then she took us back to the camp where she was held and say, yeah, that's where he held me. Well, that guy's in jail, for life.
Running Operation Underground Railroad is expensive, so to help cover costs, Tim launched a CrossFit franchise, a place where the agents work out to prepare for their missions.
And so CrossFit actually subsidizes the operation.
That's right. We have 110 members and growing every week, and all the proceeds go right back into the rescue operations.
And some of the money is used to help victims move on to a better life.
We have victims who aren't even aware of what opportunities are in front of them. What can they do? We have victims who want to become a beautician, who want to go back to school and learn trades. So we can help provide those education services that they need.
Después de eso quiero estudiar turismo porque me gustan los idiomas y ese es mi sueño.
During the making of The Abolitionists, 57 children were rescued, and 7 criminals are now facing prison sentences from 20 years to life. And while the film documents a moment in time of humanity at its worst, beyond the cameras, Tim will...
That's right. Showing humanity at their worst, because what? They were just thinking about, these foolish and wicked acts to come out to participate in, so they could make money and to basically live some form of lavish life, right? And to do all type of perversions. Now check it. Jeremiah 13 and 26. I have 2 more scriptures, and then I'm going to show you one more video clip real quick to show you what they're doing actually to derail the movie in order to way from people finding out the truth, because they have to try to hide the truth. They don't want the light to come. So when you shine the light in the dark, right, they're going to run. Now watch this. Therefore will I discover thy skirt upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. And that's what's happening right here. Their shame is coming forth. And mainly who's coming forth for? Check this out. Let's go into it. Isaiah 47 and 3, right? And it reads, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man, because you have to meet these wicked people and nations as who they are. Wicked spirits, fallen angels, unclean entities, because that is not what people with any rational and any form of God in them would do. It's impossible. So you have to be under a spiritual influence. Henceforth, why the Most High will not meet you as a man. All right, now watch this. We're gonna jump for the last scripture right here, which is Revelation 18, and we're gonna start from 2 and 3. And the reason why I'm reading this, and just what I said earlier, because he's not going to meet them as a man, because what? They are unclean spirits. Now watch this. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, behold, the great is fallen. Who's the great? Babylon the great is fallen. Henceforth, that's why you see these, light is coming. Well, these revelations are coming to light because, Babylon is slowly falling. They're deteriorating from within. Watch this. It's fallen, and it's become the habitations of devils. Henceforth, why the Father won't come meet them as no man, because it's inhabitations for what? Devils. And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. And you know those birds are, because you keep calling them angels, you know what I mean? But at the moment, they're fall to a lower state, like a bird, like hateful birds. Why? Because they're unclean. Watch this. For all nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Why is that? Because if I go back now to this, it shows you in the missing in the missing reports that what you have: Canada, Germany, India, Jamaica, Russia, Spain, United Kingdom, and your number one culprit, United States of America. 460,000, almost 500,000 kids missing. Henceforth, why this scripture right here? No, it's stating that what? For all nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, which is true. All those countries that have been named out, all of them have been doing it. They've been linking up with America in any little way, from even with these so-called medical advice they've been giving us. All these other countries have been follow suit very easily, saying, you know what, yo, do this, man, it's good for you. They have drunken of her fornication because she has been the number one top ranking in this fornication. Watch this. With her, right? They have drunken. Let me read it again. All nations have drunken the wine of her wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delectables. Henceforth, if you check it out, Jeffrey Epstein, that's why he became so rich. Because what? These are parts of what the merchants. Don't think merchants are the only people who sell clothes and cars and, you know, appliances and all these stuff. So all these merchants too are people that sells drugs, which sells people, sex slave, sex trafficking. That's merchant. That's a part of merchanting, unrighteous merchants, right? That have been doing wickedness and they're making waxing rich, making a lot of money from it. As what they said, this business has been become a 150 billion enterprise. It has way past, you know, hard drugs like your cocaine, your amphetamines, and the list goes on, right? And they have drunken that wine, all these other nations, right? Henceforth, everybody wants to go to America, but not knowing they're running to a country. And I'm not saying all Americans are like this, don't get me wrong, because as you can see, Tim Ballard is American and he's doing good work. So I'm not saying all American, but I'm saying the system that surrounds that country is dealing with folly. They're dealing with all type of what? Uncleanness. Right? And henceforth why people come out and support foolishness. Remember, you know, the last month ago, you know, June month was Pride Month. And if I show you some clippings, what they've been doing, you would not believe it. They have some people that rise through that parade naked on bikes. Right? Naked in front of children. Now you're not telling me something is wrong with these people? Isn't that Sodom and Gomorrah? Is that something of God? But you tell them the truth, they'll lock you up. They silence you. They defame you. They tell you, they say that you're telling lies. You are now a conspiracy theorist. You are a QAnon, making up all manner of foolish names. Watch this. We're going to get into it, Israel. This is going to be my last clip before I leave out, right? I'm going to leave you with this just to show you that when they're doing their what I call PR, you know, to save face, right? They tend to do stuff to try to disclaim or to sabotage anything that's coming with truth. All right, I'm going to draw out this clipping right here. All right, just to show you that the truth is something that most people tend not to love, right? Because it comes with a price. What a price is of people being set free. And they don't want anyone to set free because they want to keep people in an oppressive and docile state. Now, let's check this out, Israel, real quick and fast.
Super curious, so I came to see it, and the lights didn't turn off for the first 10 minutes. And also there was like a voiceover, like a narrator for blind people.
In a bathroom, Tim regards himself in a mirror. He splashes water on his face. In daylight, Tim enters the sunny foyer of a home. A young girl throws her arms around him. A blonde woman approaches. At a table, Tim sits with the girl and 4 boys.
Okay, everybody, come on. Gotta clear your place now. We're gonna be late. Let's go. Come on.
The children leave. The woman sits with Tim. Without looking, he puts his hand on the table. She rubs it.
Are you okay?
He meets her gaze. In an office, Tim faces the closed blinds of a window. He puts his hands on his hips. Behind him, a balding man at a desk, Bryant, eyes him.
Come on, Tim. What's going on?
Tim looks over his shoulder.
If people come out and complain, it's not our fault. We have to get this situated so that everybody can feel accommodated, and then we'll restart the movie, okay?
Restart the movie? Hold on.
So we're standing in line with all these other people in the movie theater. We're getting refunds for the Sound of Freedom because apparently the water pressure in the bathrooms aren't working here, so no one can watch the movie tonight.
There were other people in here, and now they're all gone. And the radio's playing over the movie. The lights are still on.
No, I'm just showing you this real quick, Israel, just to show you that obviously there's, as I said, tactics to basically shun the truth because, it has made 85 million so far in the space of, 2 weeks? Going on to 3 weeks now, right? And probably still climbing, right? Because a lot of people haven't seen it yet and it's making a lot of noise. So you find that people are going to see it, right? No, it's not everybody's going to go through that same experience, but I'm just saying, you tend to see these tactics all the time, right? To shun people away from the truth. Now watch this. If were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. Now, with that, Israel, I'm going to say, family, all praises unto the Most High. We give thanks unto thee, Father, for thou art merciful and kind to thy servant and thy people. I pray that this has been helpful, edifying you in any little way that it can. And you know what? Please, if you get a chance, go and check this movie out. They're not going to bring it to every theater, so that's the thing about this. It's not on every major, your Netflix or nothing like that. So, I will be trying to get the link so I can send it out and you guys can see it. So you can probably check it out either. I'm going to try. Don't hold me to it. I'm going to try this if I can get the link so I can put in the description or the comment section so you can get it. Sorry, and you can probably click on it and you do the works. But nevertheless, just do your own diligence and see if you can actually check this movie out online. Right now, trust me, this is spiritual warfare, and we just have to understand that. We have to understand that. Listen, the devil is working, and we as the people of the Most High have to work, even that much harder to, keep our brothers, up to par to what is going on, and also to take people that is still in darkness into the light, right? So with that, I'm going to say all praises unto the Most High. We give thanks unto thee, Father, for thou art merciful and kind. Israel, until I see you again, all praises. For if we stay prayed up, the Most High will keep us true.